Hi and welcome to Easy Tutoring. Today we're going to cover how you can simplify a big power of I. So I'm going to organize this video. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to show you how to do it, and then I'm going to explain why it is that we're doing that. Well, whoever is interested and wants to stick around, definitely stick around. And even if you're not that interested, knowing that will help you understand this a lot better. Anyways, let's jump straight into it. In order to simplify powers, you need to know this rule right here. I to the 1, I to the power of 2, 3, and 4, they can all be simplified in terms of i's and 1's. Now, there's a very easy way to remember this. 1 through 4, very easy to remember. Now over here, all you need to realize is that it goes I1, I1. And 2 negatives in the middle. So whenever I write this, I just put I1, I1, and 2 negatives in the middle. And that kind of sounds like saying I won. That's a really good way to remember it. I've actually remembered this rule for probably 10 years now, so very good rule. So this is going to come in handy. Now, when we want to simplify a power, what you want to do is you want to take your power, 29, and you want to divide it by 4. Now, I'm not going to explain why yet. I'm going to explain that in a minute. 29 divided by 4, let's see, what does that give us? That gives 7.25. Or you could say that gives us 7 and 1 over 4. Whichever way you want to do it, whichever way your calculator does it, or if you're dividing by hand. But pretty much 0.25 means you have a remainder of 1 over 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write this down. 0.25 means you have a remainder of 1. 0.50 means you have a remainder of 2. 0.75 means you have a remainder of 3. And having nothing, having just 0.00, or if it goes in there evenly, then a good way to think about that is you could say that you have a remainder of 4, because 4 over 4 is 1. You'll see why I did that in a second. So whatever your remainders are, you want to use this with this. If we have a remainder of 1, that's like having a power of 1 left, so you put I. If you have a remainder of 2, you put -1. Remainder of 3, you put -I. Remainder of 4, you put 1, because it's like a power of 4. So, like I said, I'm going to explain now why we're doing this. So we got a remainder of 0.25, remainder of 1. That means this is equal to just I. So that is how you do it. You can simply memorize the steps if you want to, or if you're cool, you can learn how to do it. So here's what's really happening. Let's say that we have I to the power of, say, 9. Well, using some exponent rules, I can rewrite this as I to the 4 times I to the 4 times I. Do you guys agree? Take a second to think about this. Because all your exponents, you have to add them. 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. I am allowed to do this. So, I to the 4, we know, is 1. I to the 4, we know, is 1. I to the 1, we know, is I. 1 times I is simply I. So just like that, we simplified I to the 9 by writing I. So now let's say I'm writing I to the 18. We know that that's equal to I to the 4 times 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 I squared. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 is indeed 18. Well, we know that I to the 4 is 1, right? So we can just cancel all these out. And instead of writing 1 times 1 times 1, waste of time, just cancel them out. We're left with just I squared. And we know that I squared is -1. That is how you simplify i's. That is the idea that goes behind it. Now you'll notice something very special from what we just did. 18 divided by 4 What's your remainder? Your remainder is 2. 9 divided by 4, what's your remainder? Your remainder is 1. So that's why in the future, all you need to do is find your remainder and then match your remainder with one of these numbers, whether it be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then this will be your simplified form. You will only ever have one of 4 answers. So now let's take a super big number. Let's say we're doing I to the 369. I don't know, I just chose a random number. I believe the remainder on that is 1. Let me just double check. 369 divided by 4 is 92.25. That is a remainder of 1, which means that is the same thing as I to the 1, which is the same thing as I. That's it. That is how you simplify powers of i's. Hope you guys understood this. If you guys ever want ACT or SAT help, be sure to visit my website, www.e-ztutoring.com. Thank you guys, and good luck with this.